Good afternoon. My name is Gina Paduano-Ralph, and I am the lead scientist with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Jacksonville District. I am also the Recover Program Manager. I'm here today to provide you all with an overview of the Restoration, Coordination, and Verification 5-year plan, as well as our fiscal year 2022 work plan. So first, I'll address the 5-year plan. The 5-year plan was developed in 2 steps. The first step included review of the Recover fiscal year 17 through 21 5-year plan, as well as the fiscal year 21 work plan, in order to identify items that had not been completed. As we reviewed the items that had not been completed, we decided whether or not they had been performed by others or whether they were even needed any longer. Also looked at items to determine if they should be carried forward to fiscal year 2022 and beyond. The second step involved identifying Recover products for the next 5 years based upon the Comprehensive Everglades Restoration Plan programmatic regulation requirements, any requests from implementing agencies, current and future projects identified in the 2020 Integrated Delivery Schedule, products that may result from the second periodic SERP update, such as an evaluation of Recover's monitoring and assessment plan, any recommendations from SISREP, and then other items. So what does Recover want to accomplish over the next 5 years? So the first step in development was to review our fiscal year 17 through 21 work plan. And the work plan is divided into 6 major categories. And we decided for support to projects through the fiscal year, we were going to come up with a SERP guidance memorandum and then Recover support to projects. We also had interim goals and interim targets and different reporting mechanisms. How we were going to review and integrate science, such as updates to our conceptual ecological models, adaptive management throughout the work plan in terms of identifying scopes for active and passive adaptive management, as well as updating our integration guides. Communication, various communication and reporting strategies across all of the fiscal years. And then some of our major reports included the 2019 System Status Report, as well as the Everglades Vulnerability Assessment, which was conducted by the USGS. So what did we accomplish when we looked back at that 5-year work plan? So items that are identified in green are products that were accomplished during the 5-year period between fiscal year 17 and 21. Items that are in yellow are items that are still considered works in progress and ongoing. And then items in black, we didn't quite have the opportunity to get to. So when we look at the outstanding items, we have, as I said, these items here in red. The adaptive management SERP guidance memorandum revisions, the updated SERP adaptive management integration guide, the list of priorities and processes to incorporate adaptive management into scopes to provide to our project delivery teams, an updated monitoring and assessment plan. So all of the items in red, again, were outstanding items. And the items in yellow, as I said before, are still items that are currently being worked. So for step 2 of the development process, that involved reviewing the SERP programmatic regulations, reviewing the 2020 Integrated Delivery Schedule to understand SERP project planning and implementation, because Recover has several steps or several areas in which it incorporates Recover science into those project implementation reports, as well as design, construction, and operation of SERP projects. Again, considering any requests from the implementing agencies, the Corps and the South Florida Water Management District, as well as what were the SISREP recommendations. So after we went through this two-step process, This was the plan that was developed and provided to the Greater Recover team in an overview in May of 2021. So again, it's divided into the same 6 categories. For support to projects, we did develop during that 17 to 21 timeframe SERP Guidance Memorandum number 66, which discusses Recover's role in project design, construction, monitoring, and implementation. We also completed in 2024, we will complete in 2024 a report. And in the past, that reporting mechanism was named the System Status Report. Recover is currently working with the Science Coordination Group as well as reflecting internally to best figure out a reporting format to meet the requirements of the ProReg. So whether it's another system status report or whether it is a different report altogether that perhaps incorporates interim goals and interim targets and our progress towards those, that's still under consideration and development by the Greater Recover team. We will also, for our interim goals and interim targets, of course, contribute to the 2025 report to Congress. For science review and integration, the performance measure updates and development were carried over from the previous 5-year plan. We are currently working with the Interagency Modeling Center in order to update the performance measures for use in this second periodic SERP update. And for the second periodic SERP update, this is a draft timetable that the report would be available in 2024, but the Greater Recover team will start looking at some of the fundamentals that we need to go into that technical evaluation to include the performance measure updates as well as any updates to existing ecological planning tools. We also planned, in response to the CISREP 2020 biennial report, monitoring and assessment plan synthesis report for delivery in 2026. For adaptive management, we are looking at, of course, following CGM 66 with our support to project level adaptive management plans, but also updating the SERP programmatic adaptive management integration guide and looking at a revised adaptive management SERP guidance memorandum. In addition, we will use the information collected or as a result of the SERP update and the map synthesis to determine if there are gaps in our existing monitoring, if we need to add supplemental stations, if there's monitoring that needs to be included to address certain uncertainties. So all of that will be evaluated in the fiscal year 2026 timeframe. Communication strategy, we're going to continue to communicate across all levels, within and across our agencies, to the SERP implementing agencies, to SERP decision makers, through our reports all the way up to Congress, and of course to the general public. We've also decided that in order to showcase some of the Recover products, we will complete a synopsis report in every fiscal year. And as I said here, with the 2024, it's labeled here as the SSR. That may, again, be integrated with interim goals and interim targets and repackaged into a new report that addresses the questions and guidance laid out within the SERP programmatic regulations. The SERP update report, we believe, will be done sometime within the 2023-2024 timeframe, so this is kind of a tentative hold. Again, we'll contribute to that report to Congress, and then in 2026, we will start with the development of our 5-year plan for 2027 all the way to 2032. Okay, so for that plan that I just showed you was presented in May of 2021 to the Greater Recover team, including our regional coordinators, our task team leads, our Recover Executive Committee, all the way up to the Recover Leadership Group. And based upon their feedback, this is what we heard and how we listened. So what we heard was that the work plan initially devised was overly ambitious, and there were concerns with the current level of resources within our multi-agency team. So in order to address these two concerns, we reduced the number of Recover work products across the 5-year plan, and we identified additional resources within the implementing agencies. So individuals can help to support Recover, although they may not be 100% dedicated to the Recover team. And then within the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, we now have 5 full-time Recover team members. There were concerns with prioritization. There were Recover members who thought that the priorities should be altered to bring adaptive management a little bit further to the near term as opposed to where it was within the later timeframe of the document. And we also heard that there were concerns with scheduling of the deliverables. And again, with acknowledgement that our multi-agency Recover team within their own agencies wear many hats, and they have to parse their time for Recover duties. So we have increased those timeframes for the identified deliverables. And I do have to mention that the work plan, the annual work plan, as well as the 5-year plan, is accompanied by an Excel spreadsheet, and I'll show you a brief example at the end, that has all of the products along with a scope of work and a time frame and duration identified for each. And finally, what we heard that some tasks should be delayed. So while some folks thought adaptive management should be a little bit higher in the prioritization, other folks thought that it should be a little bit lower of a priority or delayed altogether. And then some of the items in the communication plan, those also thought could be delayed until we had additional multi-agency Recover resources to help. So what we did, because of the concerns in prioritization, scheduling, and tasks, is we've looked at how do we integrate the Recover work products. And I'll talk a little bit later about this idea of these topic workshops. And the whole idea is synthesis around any given topic or uncertainty. Okay, so based upon that feedback, this is the revised plan that was presented to the Greater Recover group in September of 2021. So over the next few slides, you're going to see the same color format. So any item in green was retained from the May 2021 draft 5-year plan. Anything in this amber color was reduced in scope from the May 21 draft 5-year plan. And some of these things were incorporated into the topic workshops. Again, that idea of synthesis. And then the red were eliminated from the May 2021 draft 5-year plan. So as far as system-wide evaluation and assessment, Recover over the next 5 years will perform a technical evaluation to support the second periodic SERP update. We will, in 2024, in order to meet the ProReg requirements, we will do a system status report or a similar report to address those ProReg requirements. We will develop another 5-year plan. We will assist with providing content for the 2025 report to Congress. And then in 2026, based upon what we learned from the SERP update, from our 2024 reporting mechanism, we will look to reevaluate the monitoring and assessment plan. So all of those are green and have been retained. The items, again, in amber, interim goals and interim targets, this will be included likely within this 2024 report requirement by the ProRegs. And then the map synthesis that CISREP suggested will be taken in smaller bites and focused around certain topics within those topic workshops. Now, the Everglades report card is something that is currently identified as eliminated from the May 2021 plan. However, as I said, we are looking to revamp the format of our 2024 report. And so something similar to an Everglades report card or a similar reporting mechanism could be included within that report. Okay, as we move to system-wide review and integration, we will complete our updates to the conceptual ecological models and hypothesis clusters. We will continue to revise our performance measures as we prepare for the second periodic SERP update. And the regional simulation model has an extended period of record, and along with the Interagency Modeling Center, we will develop a period of record review memo. For adaptive management, again, this is something that was either very high on some of the Recover team members list or very low. And so what we've decided to do is put the revisions to the SERP Guidance Memorandum number 56, as well as the updates to the SERP Adaptive Management Integration Guide on hold until we have additional Recover resources to tackle those issues. And just because it's eliminated at this point doesn't mean that it's not going to be done. It just means that when resources become available, it's something that Recover will again assess. So for adaptive management, we have looked to incorporate into our topic workshops updates to uncertainties, prioritization of those uncertainties, passive and active adaptive management strategies, as well as recommending adaptive management strategies within the schedule of construction, as well as within the design phase. Okay, moving on to our support to projects, we're going to continue to do that, and we're going to follow the project scheduled within the 2020 integrated delivery schedule, acknowledging that those schedules may change when there's a revised and approved integrated delivery schedule in the future. So for science communication, I'll talk a little bit more about the topic workshops, but that's our way to integrate. And of course, we're going to continue our coordination with the Working Group and Science Coordination Group, as well as with CISRA. So these annual science meetings are something that Recover used to host. And then over the years, due to changes in resource loads, the annual science meetings have kind of fell to the back burner or fell off Recover's plate altogether. And then in light of everything that's been going on over the past couple years with the COVID concerns, we have decided to, instead of hosting these annual science meetings, we are going to host a Recover seminar series. And in that Recover seminar series, we will invite our principal investigators to come and provide an overview of their report on an annual basis, and we will group principal investigators into either similar trophic hypotheses or similar hypothesis clusters, so that we can not only have interaction with the greater Recover team, but so that the individual principal investigators can interact with each other. So the Recover Seminar Series will be held on a bi-monthly basis starting in January of 2022. And then our base operations and coordination, that is, our meetings, all of our coordination through the Recover Executive Committee, Recover Leadership Group, and regional coordinators. And we will also produce, as I stated earlier, an annual synopsis. Okay, so because of the feedback that we received on the plan being overly ambitious, we had proposed to use the topic workshops as a forum to integrate select 5-year plan deliverables, including adaptive management, the MAP synthesis, the MAP evaluation, performance measure updates and development, as well as communication. And so the idea is, instead of an overarching look at all of these things, that we would focus on a key uncertainty and provide all of this information as it pertains to that key uncertainty. So in order to do that, this just shows you kind of the general format for these hot topics. So the first task is the science meeting. The purpose of the meeting is to understand the current state of knowledge on the Recover topic, to understand ongoing research and monitoring, and then the products will be the presentations as well as a list of ongoing research and monitoring. The second task will be a brainstorming session. And the purpose of this is to discuss the uncertainties identified, to look at prioritization of those uncertainties and how we would actually address those uncertainties. So looking at the tools, do we have models? Do we have monitoring? Do we have experimental results? Are there any type of collaborations? And we're going to look at all of that and incorporate climate change. So our product here would be the list of prioritized uncertainties, as well as the list of tools to address and reduce those uncertainties. The third task is something that may not be applicable to all topics. So the third task is an electronic survey, and we have found success with this in the past to get, prompt and immediate feedback. So the purpose is to solicit feedback on the feasibility, cost, practicality, and relevance of the items that were identified during that brainstorming session. And the product, of course, would be those responses. And then finally, the last two tasks would be the development of this hot topic relevant summary. So here we would identify relevant databases, manuscripts, and reports. We would report the workshop findings and then make recommendations for future monitoring and modeling. The product, again, is the summary. And then finally, the educational video. The purpose is to document the key findings, uncertainties, and solutions in a humanistic and interesting way. So we'll come out with an educational video that will be suitable for managers, for students, for educators, and for the general public to learn a little bit more about whatever the hot topic may be. Okay, so here is our revised work plan. And again, it's divided into the same 6 categories. So we will, again, provide support to the projects. We will develop this 2024 report. We will conduct the technical evaluation associated with the SERP update. We will start a map evaluation, and then we will conduct topic workshops and then produce those reports. So our 22 work plan, just to provide you with an overview of what we're going to be undertaking over the next several months. We will start the second periodic SERP update. So we are currently developing the list of performance measures, identifying performance measures that need to be updated with additional science or shared with the Interagency Modeling Center to extend the period of record. And then we will also be developing the scope of that technical evaluation. For the 2024 report, this year we will be identifying the team lead, developing a scope of work for the report, and then developing that report outline. For system-wide review and integration, we will be completing those updates to the conceptual ecological models and hypothesis clusters. We will conduct those revisions of the performance measures within the regional simulation model in coordination with the Interagency Modeling Center. We will develop that period of record review memo. We will host 1 to 2 topic workshops, and we're currently in the process of identifying the top 2 priorities based upon feedback from the Greater Recover team, as well as SERP project managers, program managers, and environmental leads. Support to projects, we're going to keep plugging along with support to all of our projects, including those in the planning stages, such as the Biscayne Bay and Southeastern Everglades Restoration Project, and those under design, including the various phases of the Central Everglades Planning Project. Those that will are currently under construction, and those include portions of the Everglades agricultural area, features of the Central Everglades Planning Project, and then operations. We have C43, C44 that will be coming online. And then, of course, we have projects like Picayune Strand Restoration Project. So we're going to continue to support the projects throughout the life stage of each one of those. Science communication. So as I noted, we're going to have the monitoring assessment plan. Principal investigators provide presentations to the Greater Recover team. continue coordinating with the working group and science coordination group, continue talking with you all. And then at the end of this fiscal year, we'll create a 2022 synopsis report. And then I know this is tough to read, but this is just to give you a high-level roll-up of the Excel spreadsheet that I was referencing earlier that lays out the description of the task, the deliverable, and when it will be started and when it's due. Each one of these, like the SERP update, has an entire Excel tab just for itself, which lays out the scope of the technical evaluation from start to finish, including durations and all necessary reviews. And that's all I have for you today. I appreciate your time. Thank you.